has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast.
Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible. Hanging out the bad seed, broken in bad, apple with a bad attitude, hand, bad at a bad say, bad law, bad do, bad breath, bad vibes. We are live in the Magic City Studios in the Ferrall Appalachian, right across the river and through the woods from where Granny loves a little 33 bananas hybrid in New York City. The Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake up, should do on my picnic, party up, rats on the west side, bounce uptown. What about the my brain splatter all over Manhattan, easy to lay on a wide, how long, get out of my life. Don't take my wife, don't look back, yeah, you're so respectable, you're so delectable. Hey, what's kicking? I'm Ferrall, along with your boy Carver. Hi this afternoon. Mafia running it with Luke, I am your father. A birthday roll call to start the week off. Amelia Ciano checking in at 2. Styling. George Pickens, 23. Obi-Wan Kenobi Toppin, 26 with Jordan Fuller. Matisse Thybulle, 27. Michael Gallup, 28. Kyle Fuller, 30. Jake Hager, Slacks, 31. Nick Castellanos, 32, with Jared Solinger. Dre Green, 34. Sergio Romo, 41. Landon Donovan, 42. Jack Hanahan, 44, with Arash Markazi, our boy out in Lipstick City. Kevin Cobb, 49. Phil Daniels, 51. Jeff Tinsley, double nickels. Jay Gruden, the fat ass, checking in at 57. Kevin Johnson, 58, and Boom Boom Mancini, 63. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Amelia's second birthday. The Knicks beat the Cavs 107-98 last night. Yesterday on Betting Above the Rim, that was my dog day afternoon hound dog special. Knicks outright. Who needs points when you can hit bats like Uncle Futrelli? Check it out. We got a Josh Hart sighting, a triple-double with 19 rebounds. You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Brunson left the game with a knee injury. The Knicks plan to sign Shake It Up Milton after a Pistons buyout. The Thunder beat the Suns by 8. Shai Gilgeous taking over again. Nurkic with 31 rips. 31 rips. You got to be kidding me. Clippers beat the T-Wolves 89-88. I keep telling you, they can't beat anybody that matters. Number one in the West, huh? They lose to the Kings. They lose to the Clippers. They're going out. Trust me. Kawhi with 32. We got a lot of Kawhi bucket sightings. Russell Westbrook left the game with a hand fracture on Friday night. Gabe Morency, Sports Rage, will join us this very hour from Vancouver, Canada. The Clippers had a tough time with the Warriors yesterday at the Garden in Boston, 140-88 Boston. Jason Tatum going off, Jaylen Brown going off. We got Celtic title odds. Magic beat the Pistons 113-91. Banchero went off. Raptors over the Hornets, 111-106. Hornets covered the 7 spot. Check out. Ooh. Spurs beat the Pacers. Another cover, 117-105. Wemby, 31-12, 6 times, and 6 block shots. He's the best defensive player in the NBA, bar none. We got a Wemby dunk, a swab. We got it all for you. Sixers beat the Mavs. How embarrassing to lose to them without JoJo in Dallas, honestly. LeBron became the first player in NBA history with 40,000 points over the weekend. We got that for you. LeBron talks about himself in the third person, which will be exciting for everyone. Rich Paul says Bronny and his draft decision will be based on team interest, not draft position. This is the most laughable thing I've ever seen in my life. That kid is no more ready for the NBA than I am. Scotty Barnes, the Raptors, out indefinitely with a broken hand as well. Maybe he could go hang out with Brody. Tonight's games, Memphis and Brooklyn, no sleep till. Clippers and Bucks, the game of the night. Portland Mini at Target. Geez, you think you can beat them at home? Washington, Utah, Salt Lake Shakers. Chicago's at Sacktown and Oak City and the Lakers late night. I'll be watching that one, and you can count on that. And I bet on it, too. UConn beats Seton Hall, and Mafia has not stopped drinking since the game. 91-61. He had the bullet out, watching them go down. They were down 10 at the half, and then it only got worse. Indiana beat Maryland by 5. Saturday, Baylor over Kansas, 82-74. Kansas now out of the top 10. Creighton beat Marquette because Marquette played naked. South Carolina rally cap to beat Florida, Illinois over Wisconsin. The Badgers' season is over. They do not deserve an NCAA bid, losing 7 of their last 9 down the stretch. Kentucky finally got past Arkansas. Houston beat Oklahoma by 2. They play in a lot of close games. Tennessee beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Facial. Gonzaga stunned St. Mary's in Moraga because they hadn't lost a game all year in conference until the Zags came calling. Purdue beat Michigan State, but didn't cover. Duke all over Virginia at Cameron Indoor, and Arizona whacked Oregon at the McHale Center. Houston still number 1 in today's new top 25. UConn, Purdue, Tennessee, zone of the top 5. We got your best and worst against the spread in college rack, best over, best under teams. Conference tournament start in mid-majors tonight, believe it or not. Horizon, Big South, Ohio Valley, Southern, Sunbelt, A-Sun of mine in Indiana, where the corn. Oh, they don't want me to sing. They're telling me right now, stop singing. Oh, God, the red phone's going to ring again. Oh, God, the red phone. Tonight's games, Jacksonville and Verelisaw State, Queens and Florida Gulf Coast. Wouldn't want to miss those crappy games. Duke and NC State and Raleigh, Texas and Baylor and Waco. Caitlin Clark became the greatest player in the history of greatest players ever. In the greatest moment ever over the weekend, in a great situation, in a great place, Iowa City, at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Of course, it is named after Carver High. We also have Iowa women title odds. And guess what? Coach Young will join us today from Monmouth County. He's on the take for Monmouth. It's clear to me now. He's got all of his favorite plays for tonight. He loves doing betting above the rim with Ferrall on Saturdays because it's the best show. And they run it on Sundays, and it's the best show on Sundays, too. It's because I'm on with Coach. Honestly, it really is. Bucks re-signed Mike Evans to a 2-year deal for $52 million. Jason Kelce announced his retirement today. It was very emotional. Oh, God. You were always there for me. You always had my back. I love you. A Texas wide receiver ran a 4.2 40. No one's ever heard of him. The buzz around the combine is that J.J. McCarthy could be a top 10 pick now. The Chiefs will tag Snead. Panthers have stopped talking to Brian Burns. That's a mistake. Tyron Smith looks like he's done with the Cowboys. We got all the NFL news today in Carver High history. It's unbelievable. Zach Wheeler, $126 million extension, 3 years in Philly. Baseball news, plus Rick Haro on sports business. That means bags of cash from your boy, Where's Waldo? And Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider, will join us from Philadelphia after getting back from the combine and not shaving for 3 days. It's time for a Monday Coast to Coast. Go with us.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Laying points on the road in college basketball is an absolute landmine. I would not do it. I won't do it the rest of the year. I'm done doing that because it just consistently loses.
I mean, 3 possessions in a 9-point game in which the opposition now is the clock, not the actual team you're facing, right?
Right.
And these guys are taking up shots. I mean, it's just like, that's why it's the NBA.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
BetMGM is for everyone that loves sports betting. Everyone. But Tom Brady.
Wait, what?
You've won too much, Tommy. Let others play.
So I'm in if I'm not Tom Brady?
You're in. Now dog me.
What if I used to babysit Tom Brady and he was a little troublemaker?
No one likes a snitch. Well, you're in.
What if I'm the Tom Brady of spreadsheets?
You're in.
What if I'm Tim Birdie, 7-time pool champion?
The dress-up's not helping, Tom. It's Illinois.
Hey, Tom. Hi, Wayne Gretzky.
I thought it would be bigger.
Download BetMGM. Except you, Tom. You've won enough.
You probably won't believe this story, but my buddy was flying home from Los Angeles on a flight to New York City. You know how, like, the stewardess walks down the aisle and hands out the earphones now before every flight, and they're just, like, handing them out, and everybody takes one, like 3 per aisle, and it just never ends? My buddy told me that he never saw that happen, but what he did see was someone from BetMGM was handing out $150 bands to every passenger on the plane. I mean, it was unbelievable. He said every row, the guy just kept giving out bands of $150. I was like, how is that possible? He said it was the most incredible thing he'd ever seen. He said the guy only said, make a $5 bet, and this is yours. And he gave him the money first as if, like, it didn't matter if they won or lost the bet. He just said, make the bet, $5, standard odds, use the promo code SG150. People were confused and everything, but then they just took the money. I would have taken the money, too. Why am I never on a plane where they're handing out $150 bands to every passenger? It is unbelievable to me. It turns out, I looked into it, you just have to download the BetMGM app on iOS or Android or at BetMGM.com. Open an account, put 5 in it, bet 5 on anything, win or lose, and you're getting 152. You don't even have to get on an airplane. It's like the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. By the way, when he was on that flight, I had him walk up and down the aisle and turn everyone onto the SportsGrid app because it's free. You don't even have to bet $5. You don't have to open an account either. You just, like, get it on iOS or Android in the Play Store, and then you can follow your favorite hosts like Carver High, and then you can get odds, in-game odds, video stories, highlights, news, scores. It's got it all, and it's free. How great is that? You can watch the network on there, press the red button that says watch, and then there's a gray button that says listen. They must not like the listen side much because they gave it a gray tone. The red was beautiful, like the Indiana Hoosier colors. They should have gone with a red and white, like a, creamsicle, like the Indiana warm-up pants. I think it would have been better, but the guy at SportsGrid told me to shut up, and I stayed out of it at that point. But I think the app is fantastic. Carver High's a fan of it, and he's also a fan of making money all weekend long in golf betting, and he did jump on my Knicks Hound Dog Day afternoon play yesterday against the Cavs in Cleveland, and the Knicks got it done outright even with Brunson injured.
We'll talk about the golf later, Scotty. It was a crushing Monday finish for me down at the Palm Beach, as I had a couple guys in the mix there at the top, but they were not able to bring it home for me. Did not have any Austin Eckroat equity, that's for sure. But it was still a pretty good weekend either way. You're right about the Knicks, the dog day afternoon bet, as they were in Cleveland last night to start off looking back at yesterday's NBA. They lose Jalen Brunson, Scotty, a minute into this game as he get hurt. We talk about that in a moment, but the rest of the guys picking up the slack. 28 from DiVincenzo, he had 6 threes, and Josh Hart would not be denied the triple-double, 19 boards, 10 dimes, 13 points, and the dagger 3 on ESPN.
Hart, deep 3, good! Right in front of the Cavalier bench.
The dagger corner pocket and the tug of Spider's ice on his neck running up the sideline because he's a vet and can get away with that. As a friend of his, he gave him the tug of his ice. And it was nice seeing him corner, dagger, and they get it done. I'll tell you what, he's just a dirty dog. I mean, my man plays. He's the top rebounding guard in the NBA. 19 boards. The guy's not even bigger than me. I mean, it's embarrassing. That guy plays his ass off. And I thought McBride, your boy Deuce, is high. I thought he played his ass off, too. And my boy, white boy Rick Hartensteiner, getting involved violently at the 10. I love the Knicks. Everybody said, I saw today on ESPN, are the Knicks finished? Is their season over? Are they done? What will we ever do with all the geniuses they got on there predicting the end of the world? Girly man.
Yeah, they are predicting the end of the world for them right now. But really, Scotty, all words so far on Brunson isn't that bad. I mean, you had Thibodeau after the game last night say that it's a knee contusion. Everything was negative. They're going to see where it is today. All in all, probably best case scenario considering, I mean, it looked like the guy couldn't get off the floor when it initially happened. So they were able to win that game. They've got a nice little stretch here the next 4 or 5 games against teams that they can beat without him. Now, he's their best player, understandably, but like last night, they have a stretch coming up against not elite teams where I think they could even get some wins, Scotty, without him in the lineup.
We all know what they need. They need the big fellas, the meat and potatoes to show up. Anunoby and Randall, and that'll be enough said. Cleveland can't beat them when they're around. They can't beat them with them not around. And I just think I still believe in that team when they come back that it's going to boil down to them in Boston. I do not think they can beat Boston. I think Boston's going to the NBA Finals. And at this point, I'm still willing to say this early that they're the best team in the NBA, even better, in my view, than the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are amazing. But for me, look, I'll give you Porter. I'll give you they got some guys that can do it. And I don't deny the greatness of Joker and Murray. And I think Porter the other day, 10 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 5 from 3. It was embarrassing. I think they're loaded and strong. I still think it's them and Boston.
Yeah, no doubt. And we'll get to the Celtics' destruction of the Warriors in a little bit here on Coast to Coast. Let me take you next. Late night last night in Phoenix. Thunder beat the Suns 118-110. They were up big in this game, Scotty, in the third quarter. Suns rallied, actually had a lead in the fourth, but then SGA, Shai Gilgeous getting involved, finishing with 35 and down the stretch, taking over on ESPN.
Phoenix has given them an additional 10 tonight.
Nice backdoor cut, Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh, it's some mid-air fireworks. Wonderful conversion.
It's been a theme of theirs in the fourth quarter, Mark. They have struggled all year there.
Gilgeous-Alexander clocks in at the office.
He's decided it's time to go home, I think.
So Shai Gilgeous is really unbelievable. 35, 8, and 9. J. Will had 22. Giddy Kitty 10. Dort 13. They spread it around. I keep telling you, and I've said it a million times, they're fast, they run in transition, they're young, they're not afraid of back-to-backs. They got one tonight against the Lakers. They're not afraid of those cobwebs either. Believe me, we all know how great LeBron is. We all know AD is capable of being great in spots, but this young team doesn't care about any of that. They just run you out of the building and beat you. And no one can shut down Shai Gilgeous at all. They're lethal. And Durant with his 20-piece, yawn. I mean, he's just getting a paycheck at this point. It's like, yawn. Okay, so I had more points today playing. I had 25. I had more than KD today, Carver had.
He almost looked last night, Scotty, like he started getting doubled, and he was just like, forget this. Like, I'm just going to go up and down the court. I don't need this. Nurkic in the loss, 31 boards. Jeez.
Credit.
Look out. Most of the game, I think I saw 2010. Kevin Love had 30 boards, so that's the first time that's happened since then. Good stuff for them. I'll give you the rest of the NBA later and some games tonight after you talk to Gabe.
We got a lot going on here. Gabe next from Vancouver. Tons of action. NBA, we're still talking. We're lit on a Monday. A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, back on C2C on a Monday. Sports Rage is every night, weekdays at 10 to 1 Eastern with the one and only Gabriel Morency. He's always on Coast to Coast as well every day. Morency, I want to start with this. I watched the Penguins blow the game in Calgary. They were up 2-0, and I was watching the intermission and hearing these guys in Pittsburgh talk about how fantastic they were. And then we saw what happened in the third period. Bang, 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 and it was over. And then I watched them last night. It was so bad, I had to take a sleeping pill so I could pass out and not watch any more of it when the Oilers put a 6-pack on them.
I got to tell you, the Western Canadian swing for NHL teams is just pure death. It kind of flies under the radar in the betting world, Scott, but when teams do the Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Vancouver trip, it normally does not end very well.
No.
It really doesn't. Like, you look, the Carolina Hurricanes are a good team. They got messed up, bro. Like, they got swept on the coast, on the Canadian coast.
Right.
They were like, we can't wait to get back home. Like, we just can't. There's something about it. It's a grind, the geographical aspect of it. None of these cities are close. You traveled to the National Hockey League, Scott, right?
Yeah.
Thrashers. So, like people, you do Philadelphia, Washington, whatever, dude. You know what I mean?
That's easy.
It's like it takes you longer to get home from the studio after. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do Edmonton, Calgary, it ain't close. Like, people think, oh, Montreal and Toronto are rivals. It must be right. But no, Canada's spread out, man. All right? So even cities that are technically beside each other are literally like 1,500 miles away and stuff. So it catches up, man. You do like, oh, yeah, we were in Vancouver. Oh, God, now we're in Edmonton. Not to mention the weather sucks. Players can't really go out anywhere. There's nowhere to go.
Freezing.
Right? Anywhere you go, and everyone knows hockey, so you step outside. Crosby can't, go for a walk in Edmonton, bro. You know what I mean? He's more popular in Edmonton. He's in Pittsburgh. People they can't go anywhere, so, it catches up to them. But, yeah, rough ride for the Penguins. I don't think they're going to make it, Scott. They're going to fall short, bro.
Oh, I don't think they're going to make it either. And I guess my last question would be, do you think they're trading Gensel?
Yeah. And you know what? I think they're going to be able to get quite a bit for them. They're sort of in between right now, this hockey team, right? I mean, they don't have a lot of young talent, but they've got, you've got Sidney Crosby, obviously. So they're in a weird spot right now. But Gensel to Vancouver is a rumor that's been talked about a lot, Scott. And I've heard, actually, this is pretty amazing, that they want 2 first-round picks for him, though. So we'll see if they're able to get him. But it looks like the rebuild is going to start before the trade deadline, which I think they do the trade deadline in the NHL when there's 2 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, I don't
pick anybody up you want.
I don't see anybody giving them 2 first-rounders. I mean, that's
it's excessive,
that's really,
but
I mean, honestly,
hockey teams don't care about draft picks as much. You know what I mean? They really don't, unless they're top 5 picks, top 7 picks. Teams, you see, they're pretty flippant with them, bro. They'll give them away. The Canucks give away picks all the time to get players. It's right now, man, it's pretty much a seller's market in a sense where there's not a ton of really good players out there, and Gensel right now is sort of at the top of the list, or at least one of the guys. It goes to show that that's how much people want to add talent right now, that the actual going price is 2 first-round picks. We'll see if they're able to get it in the end, but we have probably a first and a third type deal.
So I got a friend whose kid he got just drafted by the Stars in the last draft, and he was on. He's won 2 golds. He was on that under-18 USA team that won it all. Then he was in the Worlds, just won it all.
Wow.
Aaron Manetian. He played in Bergen Catholic in Northern New Jersey, and now he's at Boston College, the number 1 team in the country in college hockey. And so I asked him, how's the process? He said, well, he'll get drafted. He'll play 2 years at Boston College. Then he'll go into the AHL, play 2 seasons at least in the A, and then he'll be with the big club eventually. They know how to do it. That franchise has done a great job building a title contending hockey team through the draft in Dallas. They mean business. They are a really good team. And it's great to see this young kid be a part of it and sign a deal, go to school, play at BC, which has got to be exciting, even though they lost to BU in the semis at a Beanpot, and then Northeastern beat BU. And that's just great hockey up there in New England, and there's no doubt about it. So it's fun to watch a kid that you know get drafted and see if he ends up in the show one day, which is what I'm pulling for.
NCAA hockey, Scott, is just it's booming right now. And you talked about the
Awesome.
World Junior Championship win for the United States, the under-18 win for the United States. The United States women actually won, like the under-18 women's World Championship. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but this is pretty much this is like the glory days of U.S. hockey right now. Like, it really is. You know what I mean? Like, they're dominant. They're winning, like, junior tournaments, girl tournaments, boys tournaments, men's tournaments. Like, USA Hockey internationally has never been as good as they've been right now. And I'll tell you what, normally, I can't wait, Scott. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, hockey's back in the Olympics.
Right.
And it's just going to be as good as it gets. That's the best hockey you're going to see when you see when the international in the Olympics, the past games. Yeah, it's better. It's better than the NHL's top level stuff. And USA, man, you could argue that the U.S. are the team to beat. Like, it's really crazy. Like, the USA, bro, like, they've got like 5 goalies, Scott, 6 goalies. Like, the Americans are stacked. Like, you got Connor Hellebuck. You've got Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, and you've got Thatcher Demko from the Canucks. That's your choice of your starting goalie. Those are your 3 goalies.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Canada's
what
got
was your
Aiden Hill and Skinner. Not too good.
Yeah, well, that's crazy that times are a-changing. What's your thoughts coming off of J.J. McCarthy's great performance at the Combine in Indianapolis? I know you're really high on the Wolverine.
I'm not surprised. And, it's funny to see people, I can't believe he threw the ball like that. Well, you guys watch college football? Evidently not. That's the one thing that stands out to me. So-called experts, Scott, I see, the more I watch him, the more I look at him. So what, you weren't watching the number 1 team in college football for the last 2 years? Right? I mean, the kid just went 27-1. So I like how people are somehow surprised. I can't believe he did this and that. He just keeps knocking everything down, Scott. He's too small. He's too small. He's 6'3", 219 pounds. That's too small? Joe Burrow, 6'3", 250.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Exactly. He was 202 at Michigan. And now you always hear the whispers. Wow, in person, he seems kind of thin, right? Okay. Showed up. And he's 20 years old, Scott. He just turned 21.
He'll be 230 in 5 years, and he'll be stronger than an ox.
He's just got that it factor, bro. He's just, one thing I'll say about him, and I think it's a good thing, and the NFL doesn't seem to mind it. You'll notice most of his balls are kind of high. Like, he throws these, for the record, he had the second highest velocity as well. He threw it faster with more velocity than Josh Allen. Just for the record, just letting you guys know that. 62 miles an hour. Okay, that's his velocity. Him and Penix threw they had the fastest ball.
The heater.
So he can throw. Yeah, he can throw like that 12-yard out. Boom. Throw a fastball. Bam. And he throws it right at your head, bro. Not at the numbers. Boom. Right at your face. Like, you catch it, he zips it in there. He's got mobility, dude. He grew up playing hockey, Scott. He's a hockey player / football player, man. He was an elite player in Illinois. He was good. Like, not just he's got he's on hockey DB database. And he was one of the best players in Illinois, but whatever. He's a star quarterback. So, what I mean? He's playing football right now. Big fan of his, Scott. I think, and I guarantee, listen, the NFL team is going to fall in love with this kid. I got him going 8 right now to the Falcons. No one's really talking about that. Justin Fields is not going to Atlanta, guys. Just because the media places him there, just because he's from Georgia, they don't want him. The Falcons, you and I talked about it. You know this Falcon organization well. They want their own guy. They've got young guys. They're not bringing in Cousins and stuff. They're drafting a quarterback. They want their guy. They're going to start with everybody together as a core unit. And I honestly believe that J.J. McCarthy, I got it at 10-1, Scott. It's plus 600 right now. It's already come down. But I think J.J. McCarthy to Atlanta is legit.
Wow, that's huge. Let's see if it comes to fruition. Tonight, a doubleheader on NBA TV. The Clippers are in Milwaukee. They just handled Minnesota at Target in Minneapolis, and everybody talks about how great the T-Wolves are, and I don't. I keep losing. Kings beat them. Clippers beat them at their place. Now tonight, the Clippers are there in Milwaukee. We saw them win last night in Minnesota. Tonight they take on another brutally tough team in the Bucks. And then Oak City and the Lakers, late and I, both on NBA TV. Who do you like in those games?
You know, both teams going back-to-back, which is a little bit of a problem in the NBA. I'm not an automatic, they played last night, let's fade them. But at this time of the year, we were seeing it. The National Hockey League is catching up to teams on the back-to-backs, NBA as well. I'm going to ride with the Lakers tonight. I didn't think they played that poorly, actually, on Saturday against Denver. The Lakers have been balling. Denver are just
Except for
that
that
good.
Fourth quarter when they stopped scoring.
Yeah. Well, I know Denver that's what Denver do, bro. They just they dial it up a notch.
Oh,
they're like,
God.
Jokic is he's like, okay, now we try more. I saw him he was looking at his teammates almost like he gave them the nod, like, okay, now we do it.
Did you see him? He's like, get out of the way, move out of the way, give me the ball. And then he scored. And then Murray with that baseline step back fadeaway dagger. It was so clean. The net didn't even move. He just snapped it right in and it dropped straight down. Unbelievable. They never lose. That's 5 straight they kick the Lakers' ass. I mean,
they were throwing daggers. You're right. The net doesn't even move. I like the Lakers tonight, though, to beat OKC.
I still like OKC. We'll see you tomorrow, Morency. Great stuff. Point guard, a great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. You heard me mention it to Morency. The Clippers, beat the T-Wolves in Minneapolis. I was on Betting Above the Rim yesterday, and we had a guy on that covers the T-Wolves, Nick Hamady, and I'm like, you guys don't beat anybody good. I mean, you can't beat the Kings came in and beat you. I said, what are you going to lose tonight? I said, I'm betting on the Clippers tonight. I had, at that point, right, the lines changed. I had Minnesota plus 1.5 in the morning, and Mafia, as my witness, bet it and hit it. But on the show, I said, since it flipped, I'm on the Clippers. Clippers went outright and will beat the T-Wolves. And I'm telling you again, like Kawhi at 32, I think, this team is really good. I won't deny it. They've had a great season. I won't deny it. They're top of the West. Not for long. I do not believe they'll hold that spot. And I also don't believe, I think the Thunder will pass them. And I also don't believe that they'll be in the Western Conference Final. I think they're going to lose in the playoffs early because I think they're phonies.
Look, I think any of these teams could beat them in the first round, Sky, depending on where they are. If they're the 2 or the 3, whoever's the 6 or the 7, whether it's Sacramento, Phoenix, Dallas, Lakers, Warriors, wherever you want to go, I think any of those teams could beat Minnesota in the first round, and that's unfortunate for them. Kawhi had 32 in this game. Little old school score, right? Like a late 90s, 89-88 was the final. Late Kawhi with the bucket and the foul, extending the lead on Valley Sports West.
Harden. Kawhi fouled by Towns and one opportunity.
I mean, what more do you need to know? Listen, I don't deny that Ant Edwards is a problem. And I think they have guys, Conley, guys that are legit, no questions asked. Rudy Gobert can block shots, rebound, and alley-oop finish with the best of them. And Anthony Towns can have games where he's really good, but he can also have nights where he isn't. And when it's like, for me, he looks some nights like he's gassed, like on those back-to-back nights. Well, when they have to play in the playoffs 7 games over a rigid schedule over a week and a half, I think he'll fade. I really do. I think Gobert's going to have to do way more, and I think Ant Edwards is going to have to do everything for them. He's going to be, for me, their Michael Jordan. I mean, he's literally by himself. I think they need to get him the rock and let him shoot 35 times a game. Like, no joke. He has to take over for them or they're not going anywhere. Second round, that's fine, whatever. Are you going to be in the Western Conference Final, the NBA Finals? Do you really see the Timberwolves in the NBA Finals? I mean, honestly, Joker's not losing to them. I don't think Oak City going to lose to them. And you said it best. There's other teams that can beat them. Kings just beat them. And I don't think the Warriors could beat them. I think the Warriors are definitely soft.
There was some bad news for the Clippers over the weekend, Scotty. That was on Friday night in that game against the Wizards. Russell Westbrook left the game and he fractured his hand. So no Russ for a little while coming off the bench for the Clips.
I know that feeling. I broke my hand. I'll never forget. I walked into the emergency room. Mafia remembers, I played the championship game with my hand broken, wrapped in my jersey, because we only had 6 guys. I finished the game with 15, and I went to the ER, and I pulled my hand out of my shirt, and I looked at the lady, and I go, I think it's broken. And it was the size of like an outfielder's mitt in Major League. It was literally 3 times the size of my hand right now. It was so swollen and broken. And she went, Jesus H. And I immediately had they gave me morphine. That was the night I had said to the lady, I said, do you want to have sex? She said, yeah, I'll be right back. In the morning, I woke up. She goes, yeah, too bad we didn't do that last night. By the way, I'm 80.
Oh, jeez. Never a good scene when you wake up from that, and that's the information that you get told.
With a broken hand.
With a broken hand. Nobody likes that. The Celtics beat the Warriors 140-88. Nice 52-point effort getting destroyed by Golden State on this road trip. Tatum and Brown both had big nights, 27 for Tatum, 29 for Brown. They hit 10 threes in the first quarter. Tatum was hitting them from everywhere on ESPN.
Tatum, a deep one. Is good. Jason Tatum.
Well, what makes me laugh is the same talk of the Knicks that I did earlier, is that they lost the game 140-88, and then today all day you hear their season's over, they're finished, they're done, they're old, they're washed. It's the beginning of the end for Curry. Klay Thompson sucks. They don't know what they're doing anymore. And yet they give Steve Kerr a new 2-year extension to keep going with his miserable team that doesn't win. But I'll say this. I don't buy any of that. Here's what happened. Real simple. They were down 52 at halftime. They quit. It was game over, lights out. Let's get on the plane. Let's get out of here. It's the second time Curry's had a nightmare game at the Garden. It happens to a lot of players. You go up there to Boston and play them at the Garden when they're this good, you are going to lose. The difference is that they quit. They legitimately quit. They had no one in the starting five in that game in the second half, and they quit. So all this talk of they're finished, done, season over, career over, beginning and the end, all this stuff, it's all nonsense. It was a real simple paycheck game for the Warriors. They quit at halftime and packed it in.
And that was after, obviously, getting those two back-to-back wins on Thursday and Friday. So, like you said, they didn't put anybody in the second half. They won that game in Toronto after all their travel problems and whatnot. They've had a great trip, indeed. The Celtics are the unquestioned favorite now at plus 230. It was 3-1 before this 11-game winning streak. Now plus 230. Nobody really close to them right now on the board, Scotty. They got about 200 on everyone.
Well, remember, I'll give you this. Denver went in there and beat them by a bucket when they played it. Yeah. It was a great game, and Joker found a way. So what I want to see is a 7-game series between those two. Let's face facts. Now, look, if Oak City somehow gets to the West Final and upsets Denver because they're so talented and fast and young and stupid, they have no reason to not go all out. And like tonight, second night of a back-to-back, who's tired when you're 20 years old? I'm not even tired. I played 6 games Saturday, played an hour and a half today again. I'm not tired. No one's tired that likes bowling. I'm sick of hearing about this back-to-back and all the drama and travel. Do you understand? They fly on planes with just so we're clear, they have their own plane. It's got 25 seats on it. They're all giant leather recliner seats. They have everything you can imagine on this plane for pain and suffering. I mean, you name it, they got it. They got every candy, and they got every ice, and they got every needles. They got it all. What do you need? And you land and you play again. There's no 20-year-old team tired. You know who's tired? I'm tired of hearing about the Lakers. That's what I'm tired of. I'm not tired watching Oak City. If they upset Denver and you get an Oak City-Boston final, I mean, that will be a runaway train. It'll be so much fun watching those teams run up and down, gassed for 7-6 games at least. I think it'd be fantastic. Otherwise, you're going to get Fat Joker in a slow half-court war because they're not going to let Boston run.
No, they are not. Magic beat the Pistons 113-91. Raptors beat the Hornets. Bad news for the Raptors. Scotty Barnes, another broken hand. So you had Russ with the broken hand, Scotty Barnes with the fracture in his hand as well, out indefinitely. Spurs beat the Pacers 117-105. And look, I got to throw this guy in. He's heated up, Sky. He's been good all year. I think he's increasingly got better, but we love talking about Wembanyama. 31, 12 boards, 6 dimes. Oh, he threw in 6 blocks for you as well on Valley Sports San Antonio.
With the consistency that he still performs at.
Wemby on the drive. Oh, Mama Wembanyama.
How about that beautiful pull through? Smith against Vic, throws it back out.
Another block for Victor.
I mean, this guy is a machine. Let's just stop with all this other nonsense. No one cares at all about Rudy Gobert. And everyone knows that they want to watch this kid play. No one talks about Gobert. Everyone every day talks about Wemby. He's the defensive player of the year. He's a rookie of the year. He plays with such ease. Like he's not even trying. And he's lighting the NBA up like a bong.
Cashed me that 3 threes last night as well. I'm a sucker. I just keep going back to it. And last night he hit it for me at plus 225. So thank you, Wemby, there. And the Sixers beat the Mavs 120-116. So I guess all the talk of the Sixers going to fall all the way to the 13th. I guess we can leave that alone for a day or two since they went to Dallas and beat the Mavs. Luka did have another triple-double, by the way. He's as hot as anybody going right now, that's for sure.
And I wore his new Lucas today playing basketball, and I have to say, I looked fantastic in them, and I played fantastic in them. No, and I had no bleeding toes like when I wear KD's shoes. KD's $220 shoes, every pair I ever had, tear my feet up like a lawnmower.
No. You got all of them, though. You got everybody in the mix. You got Durant, you got Luka, you got everybody's shoes ready for now that you're balling
LeBron,
again. You got everybody lined up. Saturday night, LeBron became the first player in NBA history to get 40,000 career points. Of course, they lost. There is the list. And honestly, they shouldn't have lost. I thought they had the game, and they just let the Nuggets roll them over in the fourth quarter of that one. I have to play this LeBron, though. I have just enough time to do it because it's a little bit on the long side, but I don't think you've ever heard anybody talk about themselves more in the third person than LeBron does in this clip. And then at the end, he brings up this narrative I've never heard in my life that everybody wanted him to fail when he came into the league. Here's LeBron.
18-year-old LeBron had a great head on his shoulders. He just did. He was put in a position where I wouldn't wish too many 18-year-old kids to be put into. But he's
talking about himself.
He just had his head in the best possible position. He was raised the right way by his mother. He was raised the right way by his little league coaches. He was held accountable by his friends. He met a young lady in high school that held him down as well. And then he just told himself, if you want to make a real name for yourself and your last name and your family and your friends and your city, the only way it's going to happen if you just stay focused and maintain focus and put in the work. Besides my family and my friends and my city, some people in my city as well, because we even know some of them people. To be quite honest with you, everybody wanted to see me fail when I got to the league. Everybody was just like, it's no way he's going to be able to exceed, the expectations that's put upon him.
Stop.
Yeah, I just don't believe any of that. But if he says it, it has to be true. It's his experience that I guess people in Cleveland, Akron, he thought he must have been, paranoid that they all wanted him to fail. I'll say this, for all we hear about the land, he got it done there, but he, in my view, couldn't get out of there quick enough for Miami and Los Angeles. So I want to see him retire in that hellhole. A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
So what are they saying about LeBron's kid, Carver High?
Well, yeah, of course, we continue to get off the heels of last week of, I guess, LeBron saying, everybody just let him play basketball, even though he's the one that, kind of had everybody talking about him to begin with. Rich Paul says that Bronny, his draft decision will be based on teams that are interested in him, not necessarily where they would draft him. So if there's a team that says, hey, we'll grab Bronny in the second round or something like that, it sounds like that they would be willing to take him out of school and come out of the draft for that. We've been through this a lot already, Scotty. You know that. Keep the kid in USC and let him become a better basketball player, please, instead of rushing him out of the league. It's just nonsense. It really is.
Like I've said already, the girl Juju is better than he is to begin with. And I don't think he's ready at all for the NBA. But I believe that it's so crooked, this league, that he'll end up with the Lakers. The Lakers will get him and he'll play with his dad. And I think it's the greatest scam going in basketball.
Well, I think that's part of him saying team interest, right? If he goes around the league and he's hearing a lot of, we're not interested. Then they go to Lakers and nobody wants him. So he'll be right there for us. Whatever we want to do, we'll be able to get him. I could see, you're right, that being the setup for the entire thing. We will come back and get into tonight's games. We have 6 games. I will tell you, unders yesterday, 8-0 again. Second Sunday in a row where all the unders came in. 61, 25-1 since the All-Star break. 71% of NBA games to the under, Scotty, the last just about almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the overs that I have going in the NBA tonight. I'll say that, to say the least.
Should be with these numbers.
It's like they've all hit a wall. This just happened the other night. It was fun, right? And then now last night it was every single game.